This evening, my guest is Mr. Billy Bannister, the road manager for Motown's Tempting Temptations. Welcome to Dare to Be Great.
Thank you.
Good to have you here, Billy. Billy, the Temptations is one of the greatest musical groups of all times. How did you get started while working with them?
Wow, it's being in the right place at the right time, I guess. Way back when I was 16 years old, and I won't say what year that was. When I was 16 years old, I ran into them by mistake. I was working for a law firm, and the law firm told me to take some law books over to the NBC building in New York City. And at that particular time, Johnny Carson used to film his show.
The Tonight Show.
The Tonight Show,
yeah.
in the afternoon, and you'll see it at 11:30 at night. And they were playing the Copa, and they decided they wanted to do that show that evening, that afternoon. And I ran into them, and it was like amazing, because I had seen them when before they even had a hit back in early 1964. Mm-hmm. And I looked at them, I said, these guys are going to go someplace, because they were tall and they can sing and so forth.
Yeah.
And I was mesmerized to be in the same elevator with Eddie Kendricks, David Ruffin, and their guitar player, Cornelius Graham.
Oh, okay.
And I was in the elevator with them, and I was like up against the elevator. Oh my God, I'm in the elevator with the Temptations. And they looked at me, and they said, "How you doing?" I said, "Fine." And I went my way, and they went theirs. Well, it took me about an hour to get the books that I had delivered signed for and everything. And amazingly and quickly, they were coming back out and had finished their taping.
Oh.
And David Ruffin looked at me and said, "Oh, so we meet again." And
started from
it started from there. He invited me to the Copacabana, and I went and took off from there.
As they say, the rest is history.
The rest is history.
You were, yes, give him some more love. Bill Bannister. I must say tonight that is a real accomplishment. You were also the manager for Eddie Kendricks when he went solo from the Temptations.
Not immediately, but yeah, a couple of years after.
A couple of years afterwards,
yeah, right.
yeah. I've seen, as I mentioned before, I was very impressed when I saw Mr. Bannister working with the Temptations as their road manager in Los Angeles, California. He was able to invite us into the dressing room, and the Temptations are my heroes. So I was just beside myself, just sitting in there talking to Otis Williams, Ron Tyson and company, talking old stories about the Temptations. But it's really an accomplishment for a Bahamian to be doing this stuff out on the road. Yes, give him some love. Now I see that Motown is celebrating 50 years in the business.
Right.
What was it like back in the days in Detroit when they first started, in the early days?
Well, I wasn't there, of course, of course, but just listening to the entertainers and the artists talk about days back in when it first started, like 61, when basically the majority of the groups were signed. Mm-hmm. The Temptations, Stevie Wonder, the Marvelettes, the Supremes. I think Marvin Gaye came late 1960, early 61. Those were the core groups.
Of that period.
And it was like a family.
But I understand now, because I check up on my Temptations where they go, and you're going to Australia next year. Is it next year to?
Yes.
With the Motown Review?
We're taking the Motown Review. I think we're leaving on the 11th of February, and we're taking the Miracles, the Four Tops, Mary Wilson of the Supremes, and Martha and the Vandellas. And we're going to tour all of New Zealand first, and then Australia, 5 or 6 cities in Australia.
Wow,
We're going to be there for the whole month.
Wow.
Yeah.
You just came off the road. Give him some love. Yes. You just came back off the road with the Temptations.
Right.
Where were you all performing last stop?
Wow, where was we? Sometimes I don't even know.
Yeah, I
At
know.
this particular time in my life, they just point me in what city we're going in, and I go. I think we just came back from Phoenix. We did a private affair for GoDaddy. I don't know if you ever heard of that, GoDaddy.com.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It was in the same arena and that the Arizona Diamondbacks play in.
Oh, okay.
So they had their Christmas party there.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. I mean, it was just amazing how they handled that whole thing. and just look at the baseball field and be in the,
Being in
the dugout and all that stuff. You know?
Yeah.
And then we did the Motown 50.
Okay.
Motown just had the
Oh,
50th gala,
Yes.
which I think closed out their festivities for
For the year. For the
yeah,
year.
and we had Stevie Wonder, Kid Rock, Aretha Franklin. Smokey wasn't there; he was in Australia, and Mary Wilson wasn't there. She was doing another engagement. But basically, those are everybody else was there, and the Temptations performed.
Who was still alive?
Right, who was still alive.
Was still alive.
They performed, and we did a whole hour. And amazingly, Berry Gordy, who was there, of course.
Yeah, the founder.
Yeah,
founder of Motown.
After the Temptations did their performance, he still walked up to the stage and critiqued their show.
After all these years.
After all these years. He walked
After
up
all
there.
these years.
After
Yeah.
all these years, he said,
Wow.
"Look, I need you guys to do a little bit, it's a little more of that. You know,
Yeah,
so,
after all these years.
All these years.
Speaking of that, what advice would you give to young Bahamians and Caribbean people about getting into this business, the music business?
To be totally honest with you, the business is stagnant due to the economy.
Yes.
I would tell all Bahamians, just keep writing. Most record labels now are looking for self-contained artists.
Right. Yeah.
either
They can
play-
do everything.
They
Yeah.
do it all, yeah.
Yeah.
Because all they want to do is just put the label on that recording
Right.
and send it out, and they'll market it from there. But you just have to keep trying.
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
it's not like it used to be. I remember back in the day, it used to be hard for females to get into the business. Now you have females almost controlling
They
it.
control it. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
you know, and
yeah.
groups of our ilk, like the Temptations, who've been around almost 50 years, and the Shy Lights, and all these other groups, the Four Tops, they can't even get a record label.
Right,
They can't
right.
get a record deal.
Yeah.
So
It's all geared to the youth now.
it's all geared to the youth,
Yeah.
and it seems like there's a certain age that the music industry looks at, and then they just write you off
Yeah,
after that.
yeah, yeah.
A guy like Johnny Gill, who's probably not even 40, or maybe he's 40, but has immense talent.
Right, a lot of
He
talent.
cannot get a deal anywhere.
Wow.
And they're just looking at the younger talent and the rappers and so forth and so on.
Yeah, yeah.
And I hope for the rappers' sake, I mean, I don't knock their music, I don't buy it.
Because I get some of their fans sitting in the
Oh, yeah,
room
no,
here
that's why I
tonight.
said that. Yeah, I don't want to knock that. But I hope they end up with some money at the end of this whole thing.
yeah, yeah.
Because the Temptations and the artists from that era should have taught them a lesson.
Right, yeah. Right,
These artists, unfortunately, still have to work today.
yeah.
People who I work for, specifically Otis Williams, is very comfortable in his lifestyle.
He lives in
doesn't-
LA.
He lives in LA, and
Yeah.
he doesn't have to really do this, but he enjoys doing
it, so he's
and
on
he
the road.
wants to keep the name going. But too many of the artists from back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s either died broke,
Yeah, sad,
not
sad.
even enough to put a headstone on their grave, and that's sad.
Sad, it is sad,
Yes.
sad. Final question for this segment. What is your favorite Temptation song?
Wow. You and I had this discussion before, and I'm going to go with Girl, Why You Want to Make Me Blue, which wasn't a big hit.
Right.
But it's
Eddie
now-
Kendrick singing lead on that
Kendrick
one.
singing lead, and it's now my ringtone on my phone.
Oh, okay, good,
I had to
good,
go with that.
good.
Yeah.
I just have about 60 seconds left, but tonight, Mr. Bannister, I want to find out from you, what is your favorite Temptation memory of all the years?
Wow. Meeting him. I guess that was
Yeah,
that was
it.
a start. You
Yeah.
know, it was just a chance. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time, and I was a young kid, and they took a liking to me, and they eventually never forgot me. Every time they came from New York, I had to drive Eddie Kendricks around.
Right.
You know, and he jumped in my dad had a Cadillac, so I used to just drive him around and stuff like that, and they never forgot it.
Yeah.
And right up to today, I am probably I'm considered the personal manager and assistant for Otis Williams, personally. I
Wow,
take all
personally,
his-
wow. That's an
all his-
accomplishment. Otis the leader. I really would like, in closing, to have your frequent flyer miles, because you leave from here to go all over.
Right, we leave. I leave here in a couple of days. I go to Fort Pierce. Then we do 2 shows at Disney World for New Year's, and then I got to drive on a tour bus New Year's Day to Hiawassee, Georgia.
Wow.
Wherever that is. I have no idea where it is, but we're going to go up there and do a show on the 2nd. So my New Year's Day is going to be spent on a tour bus with 13 other guys.
Wow.
And going up to a city I've never heard of.
Right.
And I'll be back on the 3rd of this January.
Give Mr. Bannister some love.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. Thank you for the time and talent. guest in this segment is